Okay, Oj, we are back in the friendly confines of Studio One. Well-deserved week off. Got a little time to get some things done around the house, and you spent some time at the Deer Camp.
Yeah, it was a good break I had. Well-deserved break, as you said.
Did you catch a deer?
I didn't catch a deer in you, and no, I did not. I caught a few other things there, but a deer was not one of them. However, when I headed back north last Monday, spike horns aren't safe around my deer blind in Houghton County, I'll tell you that.
So you got them before the horns did?
I got Yeah, it's the first deer I've got in a while, so I didn't hesitate either, so I don't want to hear any crap from anybody about the size of the buck I got. It's legal, and it's currently being processed, and if you're going to whine about it, you don't get any sausage, so there you go.
I'm not whining about it. Plus, the smaller the deer, the easier it is for you to carry.
Yeah, well, that didn't work out very well either. My back is still screwed up from it, but we had a good time. It was a good break. Good to be back here in Studio One, back in the comfort zone where I am totally unprepared for everything, and you are right on top of things, just the way it should be, after carrying you for about 9 weeks of this college football season.
Yeah, you did a hell of a job. But yeah, it's deer season heading into Thanksgiving here. I didn't spend a lot of time at any deer camps this year.
Yeah, usually you get out and go and visit a few people, don't you?
Yeah, we were out of town last week, and then just kind of relaxing here a little bit. But any good stories from your deer camp to share? Just I know you told me you went and did some side-by-siding. I assume you weren't driving.
No, we put a lot of miles on actually, all the way from between Bruce's and Trout Creek visiting, and then back the other way toward Victoria. I guess you got to know on the county a little bit to know what I'm talking about. But we had a good time. It was fun. It was always good to see those guys, and now we're getting ready for winter.
Yeah, it sounds like we got some snow brewing this week, but let's get caught up here. If you notice today, you see what I'm wearing today?
Yeah, well, that's your Zealand West boys?
No, this is, I don't have a Zealand West shirt just yet, but
what is it then?
This is Wausau West.
Oh.
I'm going to decide in the next couple of weeks.
How the hell would I know that?
Well, a lot of people know about that stuff, but I'm gonna sport a different some high school apparel from different places that I've accumulated over the years. Anybody wants to get on board and send us some of their stuff, we'll rep that as well. But I'm going with the Wausau West pullover here today. Haven't worn it in a while.
For those of you that are wondering, it's navy blue with a yellow Trojan on it, Nike symbol, and it says football underneath.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks good.
All right. High school scene, you want to start with the football or you want to wrap up volleyball?
Well, I think we probably should wrap up volleyball, get that done quick, at least from the Calumet side.
Well, from the Lake Limon side too. I actually went down and watched some volleyball in the last couple of weeks. I stopped in and watched the Lake Limon Hancock.
There was proof on a phone. Somebody took a picture of you.
Are they employed by Copper Country Ford?
I'm not naming my sources, but yeah, I did see a picture.
That damn Ricky. I watched that. Lakes were up 2-0. Fell to Hancock. It was actually pretty exciting volleyball. It's just the substitution thing just kills me. Why can't we just speed up the game? But Hancock came back and beat Lake Linden to win that district, and then they advanced all the way to the semifinals.
Yeah, what a job, Coach Lampa and the girls. First year coaching the Hancock girls. You know, he's been in volleyball for many years, right?
Yeah,
collegiately, he coached Finlandia most recently. Did a good job with those girls.
Head coach at the D1. We're probably going to have him on here at some point here in the not too distant future.
Yeah, that was great. And you know, obviously, we talked a little bit back and forth looking at their scores in that semifinal game, but that was a perennial power there, defending state champions, and the scores were kind of a little lopsided in that semifinal game, but still credit to the Hancock girls for doing what they did to get down there.
Yeah, that was good. I threw it up on the board while I had one of my classes taking a test, had it going. Yeah, it just wasn't a fair fight. Hancock kids played their tails off. Coach Lampa did a great job, but just lost to a better team.
Yep.
I mean, there's no shame in that, and I'm sure in Hancock they're excited to see what's going forward. Cal girls bowed out to Nemesis Traverse City St. Francis.
I don't know. You got a feel for those girls and Coach Monacorsi. I mean, it's you know, we mentioned it last year on the pod too. The tough losses that they've had to deal with here the last number of years. You know, the last 3 years for sure in the tournament. You know, to be up 2-0 in that situation against Traverse City St. Francis and then have it turn on them like they did again, where they weren't able to get that third set. But again, a great year for them. But I'm sure it's disappointing. Doesn't mean a whole lot to those girls because they had bigger expectations. And of course, St. Francis rolls in that second round too. I don't know what happened in the finals there.
I didn't pay
I
attention.
didn't check, but they had no problem to advancing to the state semifinals. But yeah, I mean, successful season for sure. Cal girls though, those are tough ones to take. When you have it right there for you, and you're up 2-0 and weren't able to get it done.
Yeah, so that'll wrap up a volleyball season. The high school football season's coming to a close here this coming week. We had some state championship games this week, but some UP teams of note. Division 7, Menominee bowed out last week to North Muskegon.
A team they had beat prior to, right, last year?
I believe they beat them last year in the regionals or the semis to advance. Sounds like Menominee did not play well. I did not watch the film. I saw the interview with Coach Brandt, and he alluded that they made some mistakes at bad times. And then North Muskegon bowed out in the semis to Millington. And you know the connection with Millington?
I don't.
He was the head coach there, now he's just the assistant as he's the principal, but old Lenny Dantine from Stevenson.
Oh, really?
Yeah. A guy that Crows and I've got to know over the years, so I'll be throwing my support behind Millington there. But another good year for Menominee. Division 8, Iron Mountain bowed out to Beale City again last week. I think it was 14-7.
One score game, I think, right? It's tough loss. Sounds like Iron Mountain did what they could to stay in the game. Beale City's obviously been a power for years too, but Coach Martel, they had a shot in the fourth quarter, one score loss, but yeah, another great season for the Mountaineers too.
And then again, we'll go back and watch that game, and Beale City's just so good up front. Iron Mountain had to just grind for everything they got, and then Beale City turned around and knocked off Fowler yesterday in the semis, 17-16. I did watch part of that game as well. So Beale City will be advancing to the state championship at Fort Field next week.
How about Boyne City? They got beat, I think.
They got knocked out. Yeah, they got beat.
In Division 6.
Yeah, and I forget who that was. It's probably a Lansing Catholic or something like that.
Because they had beaten Kingsley in another really good game. They twice during the regular, or once during the regular season, now in the playoffs. So I was curious to see what they did, but I did notice they got beat.
Our boys from Frankenmuth advanced.
Okay.
You know what play they're gonna run?
Midline biatch.
You know it. And then the 8-man finals culminated in the Superior Dome this weekend as well. You had Pickford in the Division 1 playing Deckerville, and I didn't watch a lot. I just read a little bit. It sounds like Pickford had a good lead, and then ended up falling to Deckerville by two points in the finals.
I read a little bit on it. Sounds like the Pickford quarterback had a career day in the first half.
Yeah.
But wasn't enough. Forest Park.
Yep, they rolled. They knocked out Morris in the finals there. I thought we talked about that earlier. Whoever came out of that North Central Forest Park game was going to probably have a really good shot to win because our nemesis from Marion, the biggest crap hole on the planet, got knocked out. So congratulations. We did get one state championship in the UP this year. So we'll do the Mark Leaf tip of the hat to Forest Park Trojans.
Yeah, I know you'll be looking forward to the weekend and watching the state championship games.
Oh, it's so nice that those are on TV. I'll probably watch, there's 8 of them, I'll probably watch 6 minimum, probably 7, depending on how bad Michigan plays against Ohio State, but that's a story for another day. But that's going to wrap up the fall sports season, heading into hoops. Probably start touching on that here at some point, but
yeah, we'll get a little flavor for what we got in the area with high school basketball, boys and girls. A couple weeks in on practice, and games will be right around the corner for the local teams there as well.
Yeah, for sure. College football?
Do we have... It'd be nice to have the last week's pairings, or the final 12 or whatever, the rankings. Do you have that anywhere?
I do not.
Well, that's a disappointing.
They're meaningless right now.
Well,
they're absolutely meaningless. We talked about this. It's like a preseason poll. Until after next week, it doesn't really matter.
Penn State won by 1. That would have been huge, eh? There's a lot of crazy games yesterday.
I got some scores down there.
God, I wish I had that. I would have loved to see the rankings. Here, let's get the technology to do that. Let's see what I can come up with. There we go. All right, let's talk, Crouchy. Indiana, what's your thoughts on them? Did they do it? Was 38-15 enough?
I'm good with them being in it. They played well. I watched a good chunk of that game. Ohio State was just better. Indiana's playing on the road.
It could have very easily, probably should have been 7-7 at the half.
Yeah, it was a pretty good game. Indiana went down and scored on them right away.
They did nothing offensively in that second half, though, at all. So I think that was one of the big things. There was questions on whether, what do you do with Indiana if they get totally demolished? If it was a total blowout, where's the cutoff to where they did enough to still get in? So according to you, you think they're good?
Right now, let's see what shakes out next week. There's a lot of ebb and flow going on here, but I think people want to see Indiana lose. They don't want them in there. They'd rather see the brands like Ohio State, but they got one loss. They got one loss at home to Ohio State. If they lose next week, for sure, but.
All right, well, let me hear your thoughts on this. So now we have two SEC teams that were locks as of this past week, and both got beat yesterday. And Alabama got thumped.
Alabama is out.
So they're 8-3, and Ole Miss. There's another one.
Now I watched that game too, and they didn't play well. That quarterback threw 2 bad picks at the end of the game, so I've never been a big fan of Ole Miss.
So if we're knocking both Ole Miss and Alabama out with 3
Alabama's
losses.
out with 3. You cannot put Alabama, no matter how much people want them in there, you can't put them in with 3 losses.
What did Tennessee do yesterday?
They rolled.
Okay. Boise State was 12th, and they won.
They won in a close game with Wyoming or something like that.
Yes, that's right. So I don't know.
But again, Boise's one that they're going to want. People want out because they're not a big brand. But I'm keeping them in.
Texas had no problem. We talked a little bit about Penn State. They had the 1-point win against Row Your Boat. Notre Dame, I was hoping Army could hang with them.
Did you watch that game?
A little bit, yeah.
I watched that with the first part of that with Crows. I was hoping that they could grind it out a little bit, but man, just the physicality and the speed. There's just such a difference between Army and Notre Dame right now. And
yeah, those teams, Army get behind 2 or 3 scores. They're so limited in what they do, But how about Miami?
They struggled. They struggled early, and they rolled.
They did get a win. Okay. Yeah. So Georgia had no problem. They played. I don't know who they played. It was a ridiculous UMass, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, BYU, those other teams.
BYU, did they get beat again?
Let's take.
I think they may have gotten beat.
I think you're right. Let me look here. Boy, how about me handling all the technology part of this? Arizona State.
Yes,
Arizona State 28-23 over BYU. Texas A&M was another one that was hoping to get in, and they lost to Auburn 43-41 in 4 overtimes. That's a hell of a game. And then Dion, Colorado was another one they were 16th in the country, so they were on the outside looking in, but hoping, and Kansas put it to them 37.
They just can't stop people yet.
No.
Colorado, and we mentioned this a couple weeks ago, they are much improved from where they were. Offensively, they're very good, but defensively, they still struggle. And again, I'm kind of a closet Kansas fan, like to root for those guys. But yeah, Colorado kind of needed that game last night, I think, to solidify a spot.
Yeah, so it's, like you said, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, it kind of takes care of itself with the final week, I guess. But those fringe teams, from Boise State, SMU, we talked BYU, they're probably out. Texas A&M is now 3 losses. They're out. Colorado's out. So we'll see if any of those other teams can slide up in there. But it does look to me like Indiana's probably done enough just with the teams that lost yesterday. It certainly helped their cause.
Yeah, one loss at Ohio State. If they were saying this was Michigan, and Michigan was undefeated, and they went in and lost to Ohio State by that, they'd say Michigan was in. So
speaking of Michigan, they scored 50 yesterday.
Yeah. They were rolling.
That was impressive.
How bad is Northwestern?
Yeah, well, can you imagine going into the Ohio State game, though, if we could just put some pressure on the Buckeyes in Ohio State, make it a 4th quarter game? Can you imagine them tightening up? Because I'll tell you what, if they start rolling early and some things happen, it's going to get ugly.
It'll be the whole, why did you go for 2? because I couldn't
Yeah.
go for 3.
Or yeah, this is going to be.
Is Bryce Underwood able to suit up on the quarterback for
He
Michigan?
was at the game.
Because, man, the quarterback play is still terrible.
Yeah.
But they do enough defensively and up front. They can grind on you a little bit, but at some point that Q's got to make a play.
Yeah, so other than that, let's go back and recap, just a touch on the Huskies' final game of their regular season. One of the craziest games you've ever been a part of.
Yeah, it really was. I've seen a lot. I've seen these happen on TV, but we went down to Saginaw, who's really talented, by the way. They got some dudes. They have a freshman quarterback who was fantastic. We were down 28-10 at half, and we really were not playing poorly. They were just very good. We had a turnover right before the half, and they got one more in to get it up to 28. But second half was unbelievable. We had to kick off. We defensively in the second half played fantastic. I think they had 1 first down all second half. About 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. It's still 28-10. We scored. Onside kick, which they were apparently not ready for. We recovered it very easily.
Is that the one the kicker got?
The kicker got it, yeah. I mean, what a fantastic job by those. You should see the bodies flying. You should have saw the bodies flying by our guys. Went down, scored again. We kicked a field goal in some capacity, so they're getting a little bit tighter. Now they're anticipating an onside kick, so we kicked it deep. They fair caught it deep in their territory. Fumbled on the first play. We scored again, and then they anticipated an onside kick. We blooped it over the top of them, bounced right up into our hands, and came away with a 32-28 win. Crazy, crazy game. And Saginaw was playing for a playoff spot.
You know, and you look back at it and all the what ifs of this season. You know, we've talked about these games going back to early September. You know, there's crazy wins and crazy losses in there, but boy, if you could just get that Bemidji game. You know, that was game 1, right?
Bemidji was an overtime loss.
There for them to win, and then the Davenport game as well. You know, a couple little things fall into place, and either one of those games or both or whatever. Tech's probably in the playoffs right now.
In Grand Valley, we really played a pretty good game against a good team. Both Bemidji and Grand Valley have advanced. They won their first playoff games this weekend. So
yeah,
Division 3 level, you got lacrosse. They're in. Platteville is in, so a couple of teams from that WEAC that we're familiar with. They both advanced, but it's exciting too. I like watching the D2, D3, and even the FCS one. I like watching those playoffs, and I'll be tuning into those as we go forward here. But yeah, good football season all the way around from my perspective. Enjoyed it, and now we're going to dial it in for the college football playoff here.
What did you see what Michigan Tech did yesterday, by the way? Hoops?
They won. They beat Moorhead.
Number 3 in the country.
Yes.
That's a hell of a win.
That is a hell of an on the road too.
And Tech had, you know, they started off with a couple nice wins, and then they had a couple frustrating losses in there. And yeah, on the road at number 3 Moorhead State, Tomaszek hit at 40.
40 points.
So that's a hell of a win for the Huskies there on the road. And early in the season, you know, they had the GLIAC Player of the Week came off the bench. That Calcaterra from a Boyne City grad. He had double-doubles, I think, in his first 2 games or whatever. So he had couple of huge outings there early on. And then they go out and get 40 from Tomaszek yesterday and beat Moorhead State. So
yeah, that was a huge win. So congrats to Coach Bitts and those guys.
And then Coach Burkhardt, Hancock's own Coach Shane Burkhardt, Northern Arizona. What do we got going there?
Well, I got a little update on that. We wanted to do our NFL picks before we get into that, or do you want to do that now?
Your call, Croce.
Let's wrap up the NFL picks, because I do have a little interview we can add in there.
Okay,
later, but,
we'll go back to that.
I guess, and what spurred you thinking about that was Northern Arizona had a big football win yesterday too.
That's right.
Right, a little banter back and forth.
Coach Burkhardt was filling us in on the Lumberjack football team. That is correct, in their cross-country program.
Yeah, one of the tops in the country, but Jesse from Appleton has educated us on that already.
Oh, he has?
Yeah, you got to read his text once in a while.
Did he send an
No,
email?
this is a while ago.
Oh, that's enough of him. Anyway, picks. Well, let's before we get into our picks, I guess, interesting little conversation. a couple nights ago, texting back and forth. The whole time I was texting, I thought I was talking to Heikki Karhu, when in fact I was talking to Parlay Pete.
Really?
Yeah, very bizarre
Was
night.
was it a bait and switch?
It was, I mean, it gets confusing with these two, and so I was not aware of who I was actually speaking to, and lo and behold, it was the wrong dude. But he wants to make sure, he's very confident today in a couple things. I want to make sure I get these out to our tens of fans. His best picks today, he has Denver at -2.5 and Washington at -6. His reasoning is Denver because they're playing Las Vegas, where most players can't get their spikes on the right foot, and Washington because they're playing, Oj, the Cowboys. So he's got a healthy little bet there, basically doubling up. Obviously, he teases all the time with these point totals, so that's what he wanted to mention. So have you been in contact with him at all?
I have
or
not.
Heikki or Parlay Pete?
Nope, not since visited Studio 2B a couple weeks back.
Yeah, I should invite him for a sauna maybe today or something too. Anyway, that's what he has. Going back to our picks.
Go ahead, get up on your pedestal.
For those of you that I'm sure, well, none of them probably remember or care, but the last time we had done this, I was at 15, 11 and 1. Crouching was at 16, 10 and 1, and you had Buffalo at -4, Atlanta at -3.5, and the Vikings at -7 a couple weeks ago. The Bills did come through for you, so you got a win, but you lost your other two to fall to 17, 12 and 1 on the year. Myself, on the other hand, we take a quick sip of coffee.
This would be a good time for me to get out like my little soundboard thing, just like some background pauses. Or...
Well, I'm proud of myself. And 18, 11 and 1, I went 3 and 0 with the Cards, Tampa, and the Chargers. So that leads us to this week, and I am picking first.
Okay.
We'll get on the DK site here to make sure we have everything we need spread-wise. Well, the first one I'm going to go, man, I generally don't take these guys, but I like your Packers today at -6. I think they can cover that at home against the 49ers. 40 degrees, I think it's going to be dry. Purdy is out, I believe.
Purdy is out.
I was
Bosa is out.
Yeah.
Trent Williams is a game time decision.
So -6, I thought that might jump to -7.5.
I looked this morning, it was -5.5.
It was, huh? Well, it's -6 now, so I'm gonna jump on that. Take the Packers at home against the 49ers.
So I can't take that now.
No.
Jeez, oh people.
So many times I gotta go through these rules with you.
So that was one of mine, of course.
Well, that's the problem. You didn't have the floor because I beat you last time we did this. So.
Yeah, sometimes we give the loser the floor. We don't really have like a set procedure, do we?
Or you just take it every week.
Which was working out well for me. All right, I'm going to take Tampa Bay. I got them at -6. I forget, are they playing the Giants? Somebody
Let's see. I believe you're right there. No.
They're playing somebody rotten.
Let's see. Tampa Bay Giants. You got it. You get -6.5. I'm sure that's still a touchdown, right? You're going to win that with the 7 points.
I like your confidence in me.
Tampa Bay at -6.5 for Croce. All right. Well, two teams moving in different directions here. I don't see Detroit. Detroit has been on fire. I know they're on the road, but I think they're the offensive weapons and what they've been doing here the last couple of weeks, albeit with some crappy AFC teams they've played, I think they can go out and win by 10 to 13 points against the Colts. So give me the Lions at -7.5. I hate that half point there, but I'm going to take Detroit -7.5 on the road against the Colts.
That's probably one you could tease up to 14.5 and probably still be comfortable. I think that one. I would agree with you on that one.
But you can't take it because I did.
I'm not taking. I knew you would. My next one, I'm going to take the Vikings. I got them at -3 against the Bears.
That is correct. Minnesota, boy, the Bears had some tough losses here as of late, eh?
Or are they bad?
Did you see some of the stuff on Twitter when the fans' reactions to that field goal getting blocked against the Packers last week? poor Bear fans. I wonder how Kevin from the high rent district's doing with all that.
Well, yeah, you and him could probably get together here because you guys are struggling, both him and your team, right?
We will not talk about the Cowboys, although they are at Washington. That would be a fun little win. But yeah, what do you got? What's your? Oh, it's back to me.
And you're running this betting. Holy cow!
And I'm gonna follow my buddy Hakey Carr, who I'm gonna take Denver. He teased it down, but I like -5.5 against the Raiders.
I like that. That's a good bet too. And then my third one, I'm going to take the Eagles tonight. I got them at -3. I think are they on the road?
Yes, they are at the Rams. The Sunday night game, Philly -3. You got it.
Yeah, Philly's been playing pretty well.
How about the? We got to touch on the Jets a little bit. What an absolute shit show that is.
Who is the biggest embarrassment in the NFL? Your Cowboys, the Bears, or the Jets?
Well, I think the Bears are better than both those two. The Jets, the Cowboys. I mean, it's ugly right now. They're not playing well. You got Cooper Rush out there. Dak is done for the year. They're hard to watch offensively. But the Jets, I mean, everything they did for this year and to get, then they go out and trade for what's his face to bring in
Devontae.
Yeah, and Rodgers has just been. I mean, I think what they expected from him is to win some of these games, right? When it's fourth quarter, one score type games,
right,
to be the difference, to put them over the top and to win these games, and he has not been able to do that. And now they're just rock bottom. They're not even close.
And his drama, everything is drama.
No.
Everything with him, he's a finger pointer, and it never points back at him.
Saleh fired. Now the GM is gone.
Yep.
They got rid of him, so who knows what's going to happen there. I mean, it sounds like he might even be, I don't know what the relationship is with the ownership there now, if they're going to just bench him and put him on IR or what. It sounds like he wants to play next year. Where's he going to go? Where? Tennessee? I mean,
Who knows?
tell me right now where Aaron Rodgers is going to go next year, where he would fit in,
Nowhere.
Yeah, it's something. Anyway, anything else NFL-wise, or?
I think that's about it right there, Oj.
All right, Copper Country Sauna is the premier sauna builder in the Keweenaw, led by two brothers-in-law that share a passion for saunas and want to provide custom saunas to Copper Country residents. When you are ready to throw some water on the rocks, visit our website at coppercountrysauna.com or give us a call at 906-281-9427.
Well, let's get a Northern Arizona update here. We are back in mid-season form as the official podcast of the Northern Arizona men's basketball team. As we alluded to already, we had Coach Burkhardt on a couple weeks ago. They have started off on fire. They're off to a 5-1 start.
Best start ever.
A couple big wins. I got them here. They won their first couple games. They played the NAIA schools, which is fairly common. And then they did travel to Stanford, and they played at Stanford. They always play those top-notch games, and they did not perform well, fell to a good Stanford team, but turned around and had a big win at Pacific.
Yeah, that was a big game. We had talked to him a little bit, I guess just a big early season test, right?
Right.
Got the job done there, and then Incarnate Word the other night.
And they had another NAIA school in there, but then a Friday they played Incarnate Word, I know it's a weird name for a university, but they are pretty talented. And I don't know if you saw the highlights of that one.
I did.
Trent McLaughlin with a little step back three at the end of the game to give them a 75-74 victory.
Yep, that was a huge win for them as well. So great to see they're off to a good start. What's their schedule like this week?
So they're heading to Houston for a tournament type deal, I believe. They're going to play Eastern Michigan on Tuesday and Houston Christian on Wednesday.
Okay. Well, that'll be interesting. See how they play with Eastern.
Yeah, for sure. And then it must be around Christmas time gearing up for the Big Sky, which is going to be very, very competitive and automatic bid to the NCAA tournament. So I know the Lumberjacks are setting their sights high there. And I did steal Mitch. I love the announcer, the guy that does their games on the radio, Mitch. And I go through and steal some of his interviews, and I got Coach Burkhardt's post-game interview after the big win with Incarnate Word. Well, let's hit the mailbag. We got a couple local fans send in some questions, a couple new guys, and some people we haven't heard from in a while here. But what do you want to start with today from the list of the mailbag, Oj?
Well, this is directly to me here, so I guess we'll get this one out of the way right off the bat. Old Bootstrap.
Bootstrap and Bill.
Yeah, it's good to hear from him again. He has a question for me. He says, or asks, do you have to be some sort of Cowboys fan to fully understand Jerry Jones' comments about the sun and moon following Sunday's game against the Eagles? When he was asked about the horrendous glare the players deal with in Jerry World, here's his quote. I'm saying the world knows where the sun is. We got to know that almost a year in advance. So someone asking about the sun, what about the sun? Where's the moon? Any clarity would be appreciated. All right, I'll go through this one more time. Jerry's quote, I'm saying the world knows where the sun is. We get to know that almost a year in advance. So someone asked me about the sun. What about the sun? Where's the moon? Do you want me to read that one more time?
No, I'm actually 10% dumber now because I heard it twice.
I did hear that, and when I originally heard it, I just kind of, whatever. But now, when he sends a question in, I don't know what's going on with the dude. That's brutal. And it is, that, I don't know, they have those panels in the back there.
Yep.
It is tough to see at certain times, right? But, yeah, I don't think I'm any more equipped to decipher what the hell Jerry's talking about here than anybody else. It's probably one of those things where when he gets off the air, Daddy's wiping his chin, or his kid is wiping his chin. Steven, yeah, I don't know. It's a rough year for Cowboys fans, and I guess that quote kind of sums it up.
I'm actually a little bit more confused after hearing it, but anyway, thanks for the question, Bootstrap. Let's hear we got Rob from Chippewa Falls.
Okay.
He goes, what current or past beer can is the most iconic?
Most iconic. Well, probably, there's two things I think about with that. I think, as far as our country goes, I think the most iconic can of beer is Budweiser.
I would probably agree.
The king of beers, just a regular Bud can. I saw a few of those long necks going down at a couple deer camps too a few weeks back. But
I can imagine.
yeah, I think I would have to say Bud, but the one I don't even know who drinks it. I don't know one person offhand that drinks Old Style. And I used to love those cans. Those cans were pretty cool. Frank Gallagher, south side of Chicago,
Yep.
That's a big beer over there. But the Old Style cans are pretty cool. Do you know anybody? Do you know Old Style drinkers?
I've seen a few people drinking them.
Regular?
I
Really?
guess so, yeah. Along the lines of your Budweiser one, remember the Stroh's cans?
Oh yeah.
Now, if I had to drink Stroh's, I would quit drinking. I cannot stomach it. I tried. I know, like, my dad and uncles used to drink
That was
one.
big around here, I think, in the 80s. It
It
must
was.
have been McCabe had that,
Yep.
McCabe Distributing must have pushed that. Because I know there was, like, my uncles, there was a lot of Stroh's drinkers.
I remember my dad and uncles, they always drank Stroh's or PBR, but man, I tried that a few times. That's a tough beer. That is a tough beer, but the can is always cool.
And they had those cool little bottles, too, I think, for Stroh's
Yep.
back in the day.
How about this one? Are you familiar with Billy beer?
Is that Jimmy Carter's brother?
Yep. Billy
Yeah.
Carter made the beer. Do you ever see those?
No,
My grandmother used to have some of those.
how the hell did I know that? For some reason I heard that before, but
Yeah, I just remember my grandma and grandpa had some of those in their fridge. I don't think they ever drank. I think they were just keeping it, but it just said Billy on them. The Billy beer.
and then locally, like the people that still have the old Bosch brewing cans or bottles that
Yeah,
were around
those are cool as well.
Blatz and Schlitz come to mind. Luigi's big. They got a lot of collector's items from Schlitz. Try to say that with a mouthful of coffee. So yeah, that's an interesting question there from Rob.
Yeah, good to hear from them. Gentlemen, as you have been discussing the college football playoffs, I can't help but wonder what the impact of the portal has been overall. Maybe it's just me and the fact that Michigan has been so poor this season, but I feel like the level of play this season has not been what it has been in the past. In your expert opinion, what do you guys think? Do you think the portal has negatively impacted team play? This is our old friend, Rufy George.
Obviously Michigan struggles, and we've talked about it. it starts with the quarterback situation. They were left with a cupboard kind of empty, I guess. So that's been a big thing there. I don't know so much. I guess put it this way: coaches have to evolve a little bit now, right? I mean, they got to do things a little bit differently each year. When these roster changes are coming like they are, you're not building these teams where you have these guys for 3-4 years consistently. So I think it's maybe a little bit of a learning curve for the coaches trying to figure out how to navigate through these teams with constant turnover in roster. So it probably does affect things a little bit. It certainly seems like there's more parity. I don't know, and maybe that's just poor level of play. But I don't think there's one team on this. When you look at the top 15, that is unbeatable, right? I mean, Oregon, they're number one in the country, but they can be had any week also. So, I would say it's probably accurate. I think it has dropped level of play a little bit, and maybe as we go here, these coaches are going to have to adjust a little bit to what they do as far as building these rosters.
I think one thing that I see happening is that some of these guys that come in as big time recruits don't want to sit around, and they're gonna transfer somewhere else. So you might see a little smaller mid-major have a better year, which I think we're seeing that somewhere along the way. But you remember the year Alabama, one of the years Alabama won the national title, and they had Tua and Jalen Hurts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
I mean, I think those days are long gone, right? You probably agree. If you're one of those guys, you're not sticking around.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Like right now, you got Michigan who has this Underwood kid coming in. I mean, if you're one of those other top recruits, you're probably gone.
Yeah, so you're building your backups through a total different way in philosophy, also, right? I mean, you got to get some of these guys, talk them into to come, because you don't want to be sitting there with another true freshman behind them.
Well, that's the thing. I said I think where you're going to see a lot of this is you're going to see your depth is not going to be nearly as good. I mean, how many times at Alabama's second unit could probably win half the games in the SEC? You have so much depth, and I think you're going to see some of that top tier is going to jump ship. I don't want to say jump ship. They're just going to explore other opportunities, and I think you will see, if a quarterback gets hurt, that team could be up a creek. Other teams might be rising up because those backups are now moving on to mid-majors or whatever you want to say about it.
Yeah, probably true. So, good question. By the way, did you happen to see Rufy George's deer?
I did. That's quite a specimen there.
Those guys out there, I mean, I can't even put my picture of my deer.
No.
Well, actually, we should do that, eh? If you can get them side by side, a picture of me with that massive spike horn I got, and Rufy George's stag that he shot.
You look like Danny DeVito standing next to Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh yeah, that was a beautiful deer though.
Well, the tines on that thing were thick.
And Jeff got a nice one with his bow.
I saw that as well.
So those guys, it's impressive. But George got a monster, so congrats to him on that.
Matt from Mohawk.
All right.
Is Jake Paul's victory over Mike Tyson proof that prime Michael Jordan would struggle in today's NBA? Absolutely not.
He's got to be getting close to suspension time for these questions.
You want to do it?
I don't know. It's the holiday season coming up. Let's give him a break.
This Jake Paul Mike Tyson. We were on the road and we watched this fight. I can't.
Did you watch this? Did you watch some of that?
Well, that one didn't come on until after 11 o'clock.
Did you watch some of it?
The Tyson thing?
Yes.
I did not. I was sleeping. It's 11 o'clock at night. Who stays up past that ungodly hour?
I did last night.
Yeah. So I can see in your eyes.
I cannot believe the number of people that tuned into that show and watched that. Ridiculous.
And then Netflix screwed it up.
Yeah, I heard that too. So there was a bunch of people pissed off. I saw Tyson's ass cheeks in some picture. I don't know. That was enough to. Did you see that?
No.
Oh my God! It was just bad, and I don't even know that was so scripted. But everybody that I talked to that watched it said it was just an absolute joke. So.
Yeah. Well, I think that whole sport is, since they lost the marquee guys from back in the day when Tyson was a legit fighter, and I think the Michael Jordan comment, I don't quite get it, but he must be a LeBron fan.
I really don't know.
Yeah.
He's on the verge.
Yeah.
What else we got?
Hey fellas, as educators with a passion for sports, who is one current sports coach manager that you would think would make a great teacher or would make a great administrator? Someone you would like to work for. Side note for Oj, your LTL has been on fire lately.
Damn right.
Have
Thank
you
you.
ever heard the song "That's Why I Write Songs" by Jamie Jameson? It's a great
Jamie
tune.
Johnson. Let's get Jameson off your mind.
What is it?
Jamie Johnson.
Oh, my eyes. It
Jamie
looks like
Jameson.
Jamie. Oh,
That's the Irish whiskey you'll be having later.
okay. Or maybe I've had some. It's a great tune about the guys behind the lyrics. I think you'll like it. I'll go first, and you can do the LTL. The one that comes to mind, a coach, manager, whatever, that would be a great teacher, administrator that I could work for. Dan Campbell.
That's a pretty good one.
Again, not a Lions fan, made fun of the biting the kneecaps thing, but I think he does a good job of getting people to buy into what he's selling. And the other thing with that, why I think he'd be a good teacher and a good leader, if there's problems, how do you think he handles them?
I don't know. Tell me.
Does he mail him a letter? Or do you think maybe just goes and addresses problems, nips things in the bud, keeps everybody rolling the boat the same way? I think he would be a good leader in the
Rowing the
education.
boat the same way. You're a PJ Flecker. I know you are.
Got a tie on underneath here. Yeah, I think.
Sunglasses at night game.
I just think that he's the type of guy that, takes problems on, head on, and gets everybody going in the right direction.
The one I thought of with this question right away, and it's, he's not currently coaching, but when he was at Michigan with that men's basketball team, and now he's on the Big Ten Network, I think he's a genuine dude. He's a good guy. Did a hell of a job at every level of coaching college basketball, and seems like whatever he would teach, classroom administration, I think he'd be the same exact person that you see, and that's John Beeline.
That's a good one.
So that's who came to mind right away. And again, he's not coaching right now, but Beeline is the one I thought of for that.
That's a good one.
And as far as the song, That's Why I Write by Jamie Jameson. I'm going to listen to it today. I have not listened to it. I am a Jamie Johnson fan. Him and Chris Stapleton, I can listen to it. I can deal with those guys. So I will give that a listen, and I appreciate the compliment on my LPL.
Now, when he said it's been on fire lately, does that mean that he hasn't liked him? He's just been burning them?
No, it means he approves.
And that's Darren from Cal City.
All right.
I haven't heard from him in quite some time.
No.
He just randomly pops up. All right, here we have Jesse from Appleton. Did you know he's a huge Shane Burkhardt fan?
What's he got today?
How much or what would it take for Oj to be strapped to a chair and have to watch the entire CMA Awards? And yes, he can have beverages during the entire show.
I would have to be strapped. There'd be no doubt about it. I don't need these people. I can't even tell you who half these people are in this. I went through when I saw that question. I went through and kind of took a little look-see to see who was actually performing on this. I don't know a damn person. I don't recognize these names. You got Peyton Manning out there as part of the presenters or whatever. Did you see any of this stuff?
I did watch some of it.
Oh my God, I don't know how people can watch it. You got people like this Donut Hole getting, or whatever the hell his name is. Who's the huge guy? Not Donut Hole.
Jelly Roll.
Yeah, whatever the hell it's called. I can't deal with it. Yeah, that's who we got. Jelly Roll winning prizes now for during the CMA Awards. So no, I would have to be strapped down, drugged, whatever else you'd have to do to get me to watch that crap. And I don't know. I don't recognize any of them, and obviously I'm not a fan of Donut Hole either. So.
I watched a little bit of it. I don't mind watching it because I'm not going to make a point of it. Sometimes I actually like when you see some of those other performers come out and sing other people's songs. But my brother-in-law and sister-in-law were at the show in Nashville.
Yeah, big deal.
They go every year.
Did they do any tribute to the older country? Was there like a lifetime achievement winner or anything?
Yeah, I think there is. I didn't pay that close attention to it, but.
No. All right, that was it from Jess.
Yeah, you want to hit this last one?
Yeah, this is a new one here. This is from a painkiller in Amik. That's a little weird.
Painkiller?
Painkiller from Amik. Dear Crouchy and Oj, is there a rule stopping football teams from wearing brown gloves to deceive the defense? Well,
yes.
I think about,
Yes.
You should know a little bit about it because the Lakeland and Hubble Lakes, where, the way you guys taking handoffs with the brown or the black forearm,
Yep.
protection there. It was deceptive as hell.
Yep.
That's a wing T thing. So for Painkiller, it's the type of offense that Croce ran at Lakeland and Scotty Erickson at Hurley. It's a deceptive offense to begin with.
And New Zealand West will be running in the state championship game against Martin Luther King.
There you go, full house T stuff, and in order to deceive the defense even more, you wear these forearm pads that made it really difficult to tell where the football was. So I'll let you go from there, though, on the rules as far as wearing brown gloves to answer this Painkiller's questions. Painkiller, I love it. Go ahead.
Yeah, you can't wear brown, the color of the ball. Any type of arm pads or the jerseys. There's pictures from back in early 40s, 50s where one team I saw, they had brown jerseys and they stitched laces across the belly so it looked like a football.
Really?
Yeah, so that stuff is all illegal. Do you remember not that many years back where they made it illegal to wear yellow gloves? Do you remember that?
I don't.
There was a year or two where you couldn't have yellow gloves because it looks like a flag. I think they've since changed that, but which I didn't quite understand why yellow gloves.
No, you talking within the last 10 years?
Yeah.
Huh, I don't remember that.
Yeah, and they didn't make a big production of it, and it didn't last very long. But yeah, you can't wear anything that's ball colored. So,
All right.
which for obvious reasons, but black works just mighty fine if you're gonna layer your handoffs and try and take the ball to the house without the defense knowing. Located 8 miles south of Lake Linden on the Boojak Road, the Dreamland Restaurant is your choice for great dining. Family owned and operated for over 100 years. Whether you're in the mood for Mexican Monday specials, burgers, pizza, or a Friday fish fry, Dreamland is your next stop. Time to listen to the lyrics, which apparently has been on fire as of late.
Yeah, and we're not slowing down this week either.
Are we fanning the flame?
It's been a few episodes. So I apologize to all the Merle Haggard fans out there waiting for another Merle song, but we got them going this week. And anybody that is a country music listener will know that the perfect country song will always focus on mama, trains, trucks, prisons, and getting drunk. Correct?
I would 100% agree.
Well, Merle wrote 2 absolute classics about his mama. And this one loosely based on his own family upbringing. Merle wrote about moving west during the Dust Bowl and all those Okies moving to California and the hardships that they had to deal with. Merle wrote this line in the song. He said, "Daddy dreamed of something better, and my mama's faith was strong. Us kids were just too young to realize that another class of people put us somewhere just below. One more reason for my mama's hungry eyes." Just a powerful statement, great song about a mother's persistence for a better way of life for her family. Despite all the hardships that they had along the way. So enjoy the classic Merle Haggard song, Mama's Hungry Eyes. Listen to the Lyrics was brought to you by Cuban Auto Body, located on Pine Street in Calumet. They're your choice for quality collision and body repair since 1966. They're open 8 to 5 Monday through Friday and 8 to 12 on Saturday. Give them a call at 906-337-1203.
Well, back in Studio One.
Yep.
82 episodes under our belt. Thanksgiving coming up this week. Want to wish all of our tens of fans a happy Thanksgiving. Hope everybody gets to enjoy some downtime with their families.
The next time we chat, a week from today, we'll have crowned the state champions in high school football. Maybe Michigan beating Ohio State for the 4th straight year. Would that be something?
Oh, okay. First of all, if Michigan beats Ohio State next Saturday, there's no chance you're going to make it to my house Sunday morning.
So, yeah, it's a fun weekend. We're looking forward to it, and we'll see what happens with this college football circus too.
All right. See you, Oj.
Talk to you later, Coachy.